I'm Christina.
And I'm Christine. Welcome to Stereo Thematica.
Music is the heartbeat of our lives and the connective tissue of our friendship. Christine and I met at work in LA, but when I moved to Texas, we started a weekly challenge. Pick a song that fits a chosen theme.
This game opened us to new perspectives on each other and deepened our understanding of the songs that shape our lives. Each week, we recreate the magic of our song exchange on a broader scale.
I've been having so much fun. Again, just hearing what everyone's been sharing and the conversations that we've been having. I really am loving the Instagram comments. So
No, I
know you don't
know.
have Instagram, but you are getting delivery from me,
Yes,
right?
between you and Thomas, every time I have a moment, I ask to please update me with your screenshots from Instagram. So I am seeing them eventually, maybe not in real time. And I'm getting text and enjoying those a lot and different comments from friends. And we're so excited to have this interaction with you all.
It is just fun and a very positive take on this type of music sharing. And I feel like it's been really interesting to see everybody's picks, but fun too, just because I know that I haven't had the chance to talk about music with a lot of the folks who are sharing with us. So it's nice. I love talking about music with you, and now we're just expanding our circle.
No, I know. We really are. I'm learning about other friends' music, what they like, what their favorite song, what they think would be their theme song, their first song obsessions. It's been a lot of fun. And sometimes I'm like actually learning new music. So that's kind of great.
Same. And I do want people to know our playlist, our Spotify playlist is ever growing as we're doing each episode. We're adding new songs. So what's our theme this week? Where are we going to expand the playlist this week?
Okay, so we're releasing this episode a few days after International Women's Day, March 8th. So, and funny enough, we are recording this on Super Bowl Sunday.
Not very women themed.
Not yet. So in a way, very appropriate that we do not have plans on Super Bowl Sunday and we are doing a theme, which I had thought of this theme shortly after the election. And my stages of grief were all over the place. Maybe for a lot of us, it was the case. I think we were looking for solace and laughs, gratitude, even distraction, really, like trying just not to think about what happened. So when I shared this theme, I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks after the election, we were beyond denial and we were ready to get real. You remember that time?
I do. It was a hard reality, but you're right. I think after the denial phase was over, it was one of those things like, wow, what do we do? We have to stand up and be with our community and honestly, it sounds corny to say it, but like fight the power.
Yeah. So that's where the protest songs came in. And actually, the idea came to me because every now and then when I'm preparing, not so much for the episodes, but for our game, I will just put my music on shuffle to see like what sort of songs come on. And I realize I have a lot of overtly protesty music, like Public Enemy, Bob Dylan, The Clash, Midnight Oil. Midnight Oil was like popping up. And then, of course, I have my Spanish songs, Tribade from Spain, Sarebe from Argentina, Ana Tijoux from Chile. So that was kind of the thing that was going on. And I'm like, okay, it's the time. We got to do some protest music.
I love it. And it's so interesting because like I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this episode, and I started saying like protest music is as old as music is. And I don't actually know if that's true or not. I tried to go searching around and being like, is it possible that some of the earliest music and songs were actually like protest songs? But it does go back really, really far, at least in our country's history. And when you think about like some of the songs that enslaved people sang to protest or at least decry their situation, women protesting, not having the capability to vote. And, you know, we did acknowledge earlier in one of our earlier episodes how music is political. We talk about what music can do for us when we're sad or desperate or frustrated. Often we look to our favorite artists to be, you know, say something we can't necessarily say or put our feelings into a beautiful song. But yeah, I love this theme and I'm really grateful you picked it. You know, I think about how sometimes when protest songs backfire on people when they don't get it, For example, like how some certain Republican candidates kept using Springsteen's Born in the USA
Yes.
at their rallies. And it's like, listen up, ding dongs. That's not exactly the
No, that
message
is
that you think
hilarious.
it is, which I love.
For sure. There's a lot of songs like that, I think, where just people don't get it.
Hmm.
The Monkees' Last Train to Clarksville, not like obviously a protest song, but that's about a soldier heading off to the Vietnam War.
Oh, wow.
Um,
I did not know that.
yeah, no, I know most people
I
don't.
mean, because it sounds so jaunty and
I
like,
know. Well, we'll get to jaunty in a bit.
mm,
But this, what you're saying, like, it actually makes me think about this kind of theory I have about the two types of songs that there are. Do you want to hear about it?
of course.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm gripping
Sorry.
my nails into my hands. Like, what is she going to say?
So I as I'm listening to these protest songs, like basically there's two types of songs. There's protest
Hmm.
songs and love songs. And
Okay.
then within those two major categories, there's of course like all these hundreds, thousands maybe of subcategories, like unrequited love,
Mm.
breakup songs, agape, eros, young love. So you get the idea. And then protest songs, like we've got anti-war songs, anti-racism, anti-police, anti-policies,
Hmm.
anti-globalization, climate change. But then as I started thinking about this, I'm like, wait, actually, these protest songs are really love songs because
Hmm.
they're about like the love for freedom, the love for country, the love for your body, the love for the planet. So really, I think there's only one type of song, and it's a love song,
Wow. This is
right?
deep. Yeah.
Did I blow your mind?
You really actually did. And now I'm trying to
I know.
debunk this theory in my head, but I can't.
Well, okay,
So
so
maybe you're right.
no, okay, you want to debunk for a second?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so obviously there's like songs that are silly songs. I am the walrus. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Love song.
But it's a love song. Exactly. It's all about love. Love is all you
Wow.
need.
Yeah. But no,
But it's all
I'm
love.
intrigued, and I'm gonna get into my playlist later. I'm gonna categorize love or protest, and yeah, this is gonna be a fun endeavor.
And please, if anyone wants to call me out on this, I welcome it. We
Fight
have our
fight
email
her.
address, stereothematica@gmail.com, or our Instagram. But please, yeah, pick a fight with me or just tell me I'm wrong. It doesn't have to be a fight.
Mm.
So anyway, a lot of the songs in my library are overtly against the system, which we need and love.
Mhm.
But I like some contrast. And what I like about my pick is that tonally the music is upbeat, breezy, jaunty, even. And the lyrics are just kind of matter of fact, but the observations are damning and they reveal our complicity in the most covert way. This is all my bottom up way of saying that my protest pick is Joni Mitchell's Big Yellow Taxi.
Yes.
They paid paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot.
I love this song. It is so fun. I mean, and you're totally right. Like some of the messaging that she puts in there it's delivered in such an easy breezy, fun way that you don't even realize that she's
No,
complaining
I
about
know.
some very valid and hard-hitting facts of the day.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just so pleasant to listen to.
Yeah.
And actually, it's weirdly easy. I could be delusional here, but it's an easy song to sing along with and feel like you are not doing that bad, if
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because she has this beautiful voice with such range, and this song is kind of, I don't want to say it doesn't like showcase that range, but it's just delivered in the most delightful way
Mm,
and simple way in a
definitely.
way. So the song was released in 1970 and it hit 67 on the Billboard Hot 100. But after her live version was released in 74, it peaked at 24.
Mm,
And this is from Mitchell's third studio album, Ladies of the Canyon. I'm sure you all know the iconic self portrait on the cover with the folds of her
yes.
skirt. And it gives way to the view of her window from her Laurel Canyon house, which, Christina, I know you've got a thing for the canyon. What's going on with that?
I know. Well, I do have an obsession with Laurel Canyon. Like, I think living in LA, it was fun to go over there. And there was like, gosh, I forget the name of it, but there was this wonderful little cafe over in Laurel Canyon where you could go hang out. But the reason why I love Laurel Canyon is because of a lot of the artists that lived
Mhm.
out there and we're all hanging out together. And I feel like we talked about this in another episode, but I love Graham Parsons.
Mhm.
And even though he wasn't necessarily a fixture of the canyon, the birds were. And he did a wonderful, I guess, I need to do a little bit more research, but when he recorded Sweetheart of the Rodeo with the birds. And this kind of was all introduced to me because I had a neighbor in Venice whose name was Michelle, and she was friends with Pamela DeBar. And Miss Pamela,
Wow.
who is a very famous former groupie of the rock and roll days, like the iconic times back then, she told me a story about how she was so in love with Chris Hillman from the Byrds. And she was like, I would go over and hang out at his house and like swing in his hammock when he wasn't home. But speaking of which, I just found out about this really cool podcast called Lost Notes from KCRW. And the focus is groupies, women of the
Mhm.
Sunset Strip. Have you heard of it or listened to this?
I have not.
I think it came out pretty recently. I just started listening to it. And there can be times where it's very hard to listen to because you're thinking
Mhm.
about some of these young women who are like 14 and
Mhm.
15 and 16 and hanging out at the whiskey and hanging out at the Rainbow Room. And it's like they were, I won't get too
Yeah,
into it,
yeah.
but there's my foray into Laurel Canyon. And I do love Joni Mitchell. And I love, she's so good and such a beautiful voice.
Do you know about the background of how this song what inspired this song?
Not at all, actually.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I think this was her first trip to Hawaii,
Nice.
and she was at the hotel the morning she woke up. She threw back the curtains and saw the beautiful green mountains in the distance. Then she looked down and there was a parking lot as far as the eye can see,
Mm,
as she said, and it broke my heart. This blight on paradise. And this is a direct quote from Joni Mitchell.
beautiful and heartbreaking.
And you know the tree museum
Yeah.
that she references that charged $1.50 for people just to see them? Well, supposedly that's Foster Botanical Garden in Honolulu. And 50 years later, that $1.50 only went up to $5.
Not too bad.
$3 for Hawaii residents. So that's actually not bad. And
Yeah,
I do love a botanical garden,
me
so I think I would
too.
go.
Actually, we've been to a botanical garden together.
I know, in DC. Yes.
Yeah. I'm pro botanical garden.
Oh, totally.
I understand being frustrated by being
Yeah.
charged money, but I actually didn't know that was a real anecdote. I thought like, oh, tree museum sounds funny, and then I
Yeah,
come to
no, I
realize
know. It's
I've
it
been to many.
Yep, I love a tree museum. Now, we talked about this. This isn't a Rage Against the Machine type of song, but like I do think in its lightheartedness and focus on nature disturbed, I think she was able to probably sway hearts and minds, or at least like make people think more about their impacts on society. And like even when she's telling the farmer to put away the DDT, it's like warm and polite. I mean, she says please.
Oh,
And by the way, DDT was banned by the EPA in 1972. And while the song may have swayed hearts and minds, it was actually another woman, the marine biologist, writer, and conservationist, Rachel Carson, whose 1962 book, Silent Spring, focused on the impacts of DDT on birds and humans and really contributed to like the burgeoning environmental movement in the US.
that's so cool. I love that, Rachel Carson was the one who was exposing this, but also that Joni was singing about it because
Yeah.
it really does feel like, I don't know, I've heard about DDT my whole life, and obviously it
Hmm.
was banned since before I was born, but still it had that big of an impact.
Yeah, totally. And we will actually there's a great New Yorker profile on Rachel Carson, so we'll share that in the show notes.
Nice.
So, okay, I'm sure the Counting Crows version was not your introduction to the
Oh
song.
God.
I hope not. I
I
mean,
I actually
2002.
doubt it. I'm sure it wasn't, but it unfortunately is so memorable because of how bad it is.
Yeah, there is a review in the Village Voice, and it's like snark turned up to 1,000. And so basically, this article, it covers the 50 worst songs of the aughts.
Nice.
And
God, I need to read that.
oh, you got it. And we will also
Please. Yeah.
have this in the show notes. but this song is ranked number 1.
Yes.
And I almost feel bad reading from it.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Okay.
No.
So, let me preface this by saying that Mitchell has I think said that she liked this version. So I want to put that out there first. So Joni Mitchell liked it because she thought it brought new energy to the song.
Hmm.
Having said that, the Village Voice just tore it apart. I quote, "You know the line about how they paved paradise and put up a parking lot? Like how they replaced something beautiful and something cold and heartless and commercial? That's you. You're the parking lot, motherfucker."
Ouch.
I know. And
Searing.
that's very sad. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Poor guy.
No, I know. The funny thing is, I did not ever hear this. I tried to listen to
Oh,
it
you've
in
never heard it?
no, not until preparing
Whoa.
for this episode.
That's so
I
funny.
knew about it, but I'm like, I somehow managed to avoid it all these years.
Where were
I
you?
don't know. I know 2002, weird time. I
You're like, I was literally in the canyon.
yeah, I think I was, but I never heard it. Tried to watch the video, wasn't feeling it. Probably couldn't get past the first 30 seconds. But there's a lot of covers of Big Yellow Taxi, 458
Whoa, I
to
had
be
no idea.
exact. At least that's the number that Joni Mitchell has on her website. Cher actually did a version. Amy Grant's.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, the possibilities are endless.
Put 'em in a tree museum.
And they charge the people $1.50 just to see 'em.
And then even Bob Dylan has a version.
Oh, you never know what you got till it's gone. They pay paradise, they put up a parking lot.
It's kind of cute. It's not
Hmm.
great. It's on his 1973, what they called the Revenge album. It was Columbia putting a bunch of like bad
Mm.
songs on an album because
Hmm.
Bob was leaving them.
Nice.
But supposedly he recorded this in 1970 and it's very like New Morning style. And then now Janet Jackson, it's more of a tribute. It's not a remake. It's the song Got Till It's Gone.
Love that song.
Yeah, so this was Janet Jackson and Q-Tip, and they're sampling the song. Obviously, they even have in the video showing on a screen Joni Mitchell, but Q-Tip says Joni Mitchell never lies,
Hmm.
and I enjoy it quite a bit. And I guess Janet Jackson was a huge fan of Joni throughout the years,
Aw.
especially when she was younger, and I think the people that she was working with at the time were like, "Oh, it's never going to happen." And she basically, I think, just called her up and asked, and it worked. And Joni
Wow.
Mitchell loved it.
I actually remember that song so vividly from when I was a child because
Hmm.
I remember hearing that sample and thinking it was really spooky because
Oh,
it kind of
yeah,
is a little like, "Ooh,"
it
like
is.
ghostly almost. I think hearing that song, I did not make the connection. Of course, I know now, but
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I didn't make the connection that it was Joni Mitchell or even anyone of note. I just thought it was like a
Yeah, of
spooky,
course. Yeah.
spooky sound.
It is. You're right. And then, well, of all the remakes, my favorite is from not so well known Catalan singer Celeste Alias, and she's got this really cool like string arrangement. We'll share that one too because it's
Nice.
definitely worth checking out.
What language is that one in?
She's singing in English, and it's
Oh,
funny
okay.
because she's got a thick like a Catalan accent as she's singing it. But because she's such a great guitarist, she does her own little thing with it.
Nice. Oh my
It's
gosh, you've
yeah.
given me so many. And it's so funny because like normally I get a little bit overwhelmed if I'm like looking at all the same covers of
Mhm.
one song. Well, I love covers. I get excited by them, but I don't want to listen to too many in a row by the same
Mhm.
musician. Or sorry, by
Yeah,
same
no, no,
song
no.
by too many different musicians because it can feel a little bit like I can't even remember the original anymore. But
Yeah.
these I can't wait to listen to, minus the Counting Crows, because I definitely remember what that one sounds like.
No.
But I do want to see the video. Dying to see the video.
Yeah, oh, cringe. Okay, so your pick, Christina. How did you land on yours?
First of all, I love that yours is like so not overtly a protest song. Like it's very much like a bop, you know? It's
Yeah.
just like something that was so beautiful. And I knew when I wanted to pick a protest song, I knew I wanted to pick a female musician because there are a lot of very prominent male singers
Mhm.
who's, with protest songs. But I'm sorry, in this situation, I'd just rather listen to women.
Mhm.
So I went looking for something that was new to me. And when I was looking for a song for this theme, I landed on a song by Pussy Riot.
Woohoo.
Let me really quickly
Yeah.
say, pussy, not a bad word. No one's jumping
I
down Tom Jones's throat for saying what's new pussycat, anything like that. So I just want to,
I'm
hey,
fully with you.
okay, good.
Yes.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody calls someone a pussy and they're saying it as an insult or a slur, I just clap back. Pussies are powerful. So there we go. It's an act
Yeah.
of resistance in itself.
Yes.
And Pussy Riot, oh my God, I love them for who they are. And for those of you who might be unfamiliar, I'd love to share a little bit about them. And then, Christine, I'm going to ask what
Yeah.
you know
Okay.
of them. But they were formed in 2011 in Moscow. And I do remember when I remember them coming kind of onto the scene of, worldwide notoriety was because they were arrested for staging a performance inside of Moscow's Cathedral of Christ the Savior in 2012. They were protesting the church's support for Putin during his election campaign, and they were eventually convicted of hooliganism motivated by religious hatred. Do you remember when that
Yes. No, I
happened?
do remember that. It was
And
very impressive.
yeah, I think they have such an interesting story because they're punk AF. Like they didn't start out as a band. They really started out as like
Yeah.
performance artists and people who are, very much trying to grab attention. And that particular stunt and the imprisonment gained international attention and got a lot of like, action and support from like Amnesty International and other groups. Then they got even more famous when they tried to record a music video in Sochi during the Winter Olympics, and they were filmed being beaten by Cossack security guards.
Yeah.
Do you
Wow.
remember this?
Yeah. No, I mean it's amazing that they will cross the line so much.
Yeah, in
It's
Russia.
yeah, no, it's so impressive.
It's so
Yeah.
dedicated. I mean, they're like so punk. Like that's what I love about them. Like one of the things that I thought was really cool, one of the band members self-described them as superheroes in balaclavas and acid
Mm,
bright tights. And like those
yeah.
balaclavas really were like because they were wearing like
Mhm.
dresses and tights, but then the balaclava. And so you're like, dude, that's so cool. And they did say something about how they were really inspired by like the Riot Girl movement.
Mhm.
But they said one of the biggest differences between them and like Bikini Kill, for example, was the fact that they didn't have the club, for example, where they could go and perform like anyone else did. They
Yeah.
had to grab people's attention and like unfortunately or fortunately for them, depending on who you ask, like break the law sometimes so that they could get their message across. And I just thought like, man, like heroic, truly
I know.
impressive. It's so cool.
Mission accomplished. I mean, at least for
Right?
getting our attention for
Yeah.
sure.
Heck yeah. So the song I picked by Pussy Riot is called Make America Great Again. And that's obviously very like
Yeah.
tongue in cheek. It actually was released in 2016, just 2 weeks before Donald Trump won the election. So let's take a quick listen to their take on his presidency.
Let other people in. Listen to your women. Stop killing black children. Make America great again.
So clearly not big fans of what was happening in the USA at the time. And it's so nuts to me to think about that was like 9 years ago. And we're, I mean, definitely
Yep.
in a worse place now, feels like,
No,
but very similar.
I know. Around the same time, one of my favorite songs by them is Straight Outta Vagina. And that was
Yes.
also in response to Trump. You might remember around the election, but it was something from 2005, I think.
Mm.
But his grab him by the pussy comment when he
Hmm.
sees a beautiful woman, I just grab him by the pussy.
It is a bad word when he says it.
Yeah, no, it's horror. It's
Yeah,
disgusting. But
disgusting.
it's crazy to think he said that. And that's not even probably one of the top 100 worst things he said.
Yeah.
It's,
It
ugh.
it's sick. I mean, and it's one of those things where like what I like about this song is they're really laying into the negative elements of Trump's ideals for America, right? He's
Hmm.
anti-immigrant, anti-woman, pro-violence.
Could you imagine a politician calling a woman a dog? do you wanna stay in the kitchen? Is that where you belong? How do you picture the perfect leader? How do you want him to be? Has he promoted the use of torture and killing families?
It's so nasty. And unfortunately, it's funny to think that people think a lot of that is making America great again. So
Yeah.
I love their very bold take in the refrain of this song, which they're saying, their hopes for the people of the U.S. and, hopefully the world too. But because we have such a
Yeah.
spotlight on the USA is let people emigrate freely,
Yeah.
stop violence against Black people, encourage gender equality. Like, that's definitely the America I
Yeah.
would prefer, and it
And
sounds like
this is a love song too for
yeah.
humanity.
Oh, for sure.
Uh,
Yes, you're right. Your theory is working,
yep.
Christine. It is. It's a love song for humanity, for women, for the underdog, which is hard because, like, how can the global majority be the underdog,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I'm actually I don't of course the listener can't see us. I'm wearing a Avow Texas pro-abortion t-shirt right now as we record, and I was so thrilled to see back in 2022 members of Pussy Riot came to the Texas state capitol and they demanded
Oh
that
wow.
abortion be legal in Texas, and they said support the matriarchy, and it was just like a really, really cool thing to see. And I'm pleased to know that there are people like the members of
Hmm.
Pussy Riot who exist, and they'll do, I mean, it feels like whatever it
Yeah.
takes to get their message across, right?
No, I know. We're very lucky to have them in our world.
Yeah.
And they're brave and they're kind of scary sometimes. I mean, the
Yes.
videos are very scary. and and the balaclava, like I said it right, balaclava, like I
I
want to say
think, yeah.
baklava. But those balaclavas make them really intimidating.
Hmm.
And I think over the next like few years, they're gonna probably have an even bigger role. I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah. And I want to tap into some of that energy and just remember sometimes it can feel scary. Like even, sharing I'm not afraid to share this opinion, that I'm
Mhm.
against Donald Trump, that I'm against, people who are against women or immigrants or things like that. But sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, it's scary to speak up in public about
Yeah.
your beliefs. And then it's like, well, look what they did.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know.
so they're kind of my heroes, and Joni, and all the
And so many more,
awesome,
yeah. No,
yeah,
I know. And we'll be playing a lot more of that probably as we continue with this musical journey with y'all.
heck yeah. And I think this is a really wonderful opportunity to, ask our listeners, please let us know what it is that you're listening to that gives you that energy, that lets you feel like you're in the good fight. And, because I want to keep expanding my musical knowledge, or maybe be reminded of some
Yeah.
cool songs that we did know about and we just want to find solace in right now, because I've been really turning to music to help me get through some of the harder times.
Yep, me too. Well, I think that's our episode for this week. Christina, do you want to give us a preview of what we'll be talking about next week?
Absolutely. Next week, we're going to talk about near perfect albums with one flaw.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Ah.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Thank you for listening to Stereothematica. If you enjoyed what you heard, please share with a friend.
And subscribe now wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on Instagram and share your favorite protest songs with us.
And don't forget to visit stereothematica.blog, where we share all of our links, photos, all that fun stuff.
See you soon.
Bye.
What you got to this gone.